Welcome to the All Sorts podcast, where we grab onto your curiosity and see where it takes us. Today, we're going to be diving deep into something that I think can really, help all of us unlock some amazing things within ourselves.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah, and it all comes down to, getting a little bit uncomfortable. We're talking about going beyond your comfort zone.
That's right. Comfort zones, they can be, pretty cozy, right?
Yeah, they're called comfort zones for a reason.
But if we get too comfortable, we might miss out on some pretty amazing opportunities for growth and learning and just, really expanding our potential.
Yeah. So let's get started. Let's unpack this whole idea of a comfort zone. If it's not a physical space, what is it exactly?
Well, it's a mental state, a place where we feel safe, in control, free from anxiety.
Okay.
We operate on autopilot, relying on those familiar behaviors. And you know what? It delivers that predictable, kind of steady level of performance. But the problem is, this predictability can actually come at the cost of growth.
Right. So it's like we can get stuck in a rut.
Exactly.
And why is it so important to kind of break free from that rut? Why do we have to keep pushing ourselves out of that comfortable space?
So think about it this way. Venturing beyond our comfort zone is really the heart of personal growth. And Royston Guest, in his article, outlined 7 super compelling reasons why stepping outside that bubble is a must.
Okay, 7 reasons. All right, you've got my attention.
Hit me with them.
Give me those 7 reasons. Number 1, what is it?
Well, the first one is all about achieving personal growth. Stepping outside our comfort zone, it exposes us to new experiences, new challenges, new perspectives.
I'm liking this already.
And all of that fosters continuous learning and adaptation. Right.
Right.
Which is kind of the essence of growth.
Yeah, it's like expanding our horizons, always challenging ourselves to learn and evolve. Okay, what's next on the list?
So the second reason is all about creating momentum. When we take those steps, no matter how small, outside our comfort zone, it builds on each other.
Or compound on each other.
They do, leading to greater confidence and that feeling of accomplishment that really propels us forward.
So personal growth creates momentum.
Yes.
Which leads to more growth. I like that.
And that snowball effect you were talking about earlier.
Right.
This is exactly that.
It gets bigger and bigger as we go. What's reason number 3?
This one might surprise you. Stepping outside your comfort zone can actually make you a productivity ninja. It helps you focus on what truly matters, gives you the energy to get things done,
Yeah, okay.
You start operating at a totally different level, achieving goals that, before may have just been dreams.
So it's not just about personal growth.
It's not just that.
But also about becoming more effective.
Absolutely.
In all areas of life.
Wow.
I like this. Okay, what's reason number 4?
This one is about eliminating fear. By kind of proactively challenging our comfort zone,
Okay.
we actually train our mind to see our own capabilities more clearly.
Oh, interesting.
And that can actually reduce the anxieties that tend to hold us back.
So we face our fears head on, and it helps us dismantle them.
I love that. Okay, what are the next 3 reasons? I'm hooked.
Okay, so reason number 5. It highlights how important it is to enter the growth zone.
The growth zone. Okay, what is that?
So by continually pushing our boundaries,
Okay.
we shift from that state of comfort to a state of constant learning and development.
I see.
And that makes us more resilient, right, in the face of all the inevitable challenges that life throws our way. And it also makes us much more adaptable to change.
It's like always striving for that next level, constantly pushing ourselves to new heights.
Yeah. And that actually leads to the 6th reason, greater
That's
self-fulfillment.
greater self-fulfillment. Okay, that's a good one.
Yeah, so many people walk through life feeling unfulfilled.
Yeah.
Like they're not living up to their potential, Stepping outside the comfort zone allows us to, discover hidden talents we might not even know we had. We can pursue our passions and just achieve a level of satisfaction that we didn't even think was possible before. Right. It's about breaking free from those limitations that we often put on ourselves.
Exactly.
That we don't even realize are there. Okay, what's the final reason?
This is a big one. The 7th reason is all about impact. When we step outside our comfort zone consistently, we actually become a source of inspiration for others.
Wow. Okay.
It shows people that growth is possible and encourages them to do the same. It's like this ripple effect that can have a profound impact on the world around us.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
By challenging ourselves, we can inspire others to do the same. Okay, but let's get real for a second. Why is it so hard to leave our comfort zones? It's like our brains are wired to resist change.
You're absolutely right. It's not easy. Our brains, they're hardwired for survival, right?
Yeah.
And survival means avoiding danger. And they often equate uncertainty with danger. So it's this primal instinct that makes us naturally averse to taking risks.
Okay.
And then we have the, fear of failure, fear of judgment that can really, keep us from trying new things.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like we're fighting our own biology when we try to break free.
In a way, yeah.
But you're saying our brains are adaptable?
They are. And the more we challenge those ingrained patterns,
Okay.
the more comfortable we become with stepping outside those boundaries.
So how do we start to rewire those thought patterns? Like, give us the how-to guide for leaving our comfort zones.
Well, one of the most important things is to start small.
Okay.
Don't try to overhaul your whole life overnight. Just try incorporating, little tiny changes into your routine. Something as simple as trying a new route to work or, trying a new recipe, even just striking up a conversation with someone new.
Those small changes can make a difference.
Absolutely.
But what about like those bigger goals, the ones that, require more than just like a small tweak to our routines?
Well, even with bigger goals, the same principle applies. Break it down into smaller, more manageable steps, and then focus on building momentum.
Yeah.
Let's say, you've always wanted to start your own business,
Right.
but the thought just feels so overwhelming. Instead of making this big, leap, you can start by just dedicating, a couple of hours each week to just exploring your business idea,
I see.
doing a little bit of research,
Dipping our toes in the water before we like do a cannonball.
That's a great way to put it.
Okay. What else? What else can we do?
Another really important part of this is reframing our mindset.
Okay. How do we do that?
Instead of viewing challenges as threats,
Okay.
try to see them as opportunities for growth. A mind that is stretched by a new experience can never go back to its old dimensions.
Right. So we need to shift our perspective.
Yes,
See those challenges as stepping stones rather than like roadblocks.
exactly.
I love that. Okay. What else can we do to support ourselves during this process?
I would say one of the most important things is to surround yourself with a supportive network.
Okay.
Find your cheer squad. The people who inspire you, believe in you, encourage you to keep pushing forward. Mentors, friends, family, even online communities can make a huge difference.
It's like having a team of people who are in your corner cheering you on when things get tough.
Exactly.
Okay. That makes sense.
Okay.
But what about, those times when, self-doubt creeps in and we start questioning our abilities? How do we deal with that inner critic?
That's where, that positive mental attitude comes into play. It's not about ignoring the doubts,
Okay.
but it's about challenging them with evidence of what you can do. Think back to your past successes.
Right.
Visualize yourself achieving your goals.
Okay.
And just be kind to yourself. Cultivate self-compassion.
So instead of letting those negative thoughts hold us back, we need to actively fight them with like positive self-talk
Yes.
and reminders of, what we are capable of.
Exactly.
That's great. Okay, but I'm curious, are there any real-life examples of people who have actually pushed past their comfort zones
Absolutely.
and like achieved something amazing?
Oh, there's so many. Take, for instance, Abubakar Taye Hassanat. They wrote this incredible article on Medium
Yeah.
about their journey of overcoming anxiety and just totally transforming their life.
Okay, now you've got me hooked. Tell me more about Abubakar Taye Hassanat's journey.
Right.
What did they face and how did they overcome it?
So Abubakar Taye Hassanat's story is a real testament to the power of, embracing discomfort for growth.
Okay.
They talked about struggling with low self-esteem and just like a fear of new things.
Right.
And that led them to stay in a secure but ultimately unsatisfying job.
I see.
But then a near-death experience combined with this realization that they were capable of so much more
Yeah.
really prompted them to embark on this journey of self-discovery. They started small, incorporating those new habits inspired by the book Atomic Habits.
And they use those tiny, atomic habits as like building blocks
Yeah.
for bigger change.
Exactly. They described moving from what they called their fear zone to a learning zone as a period filled with, challenges and uncertainty, of course. But they really immersed themselves in books. They learned new skills and, most importantly, faced those anxieties head on.
Right.
And as they progressed, they started experiencing, significant personal growth.
I'm curious about those specifics. What were some of the key shifts that they experienced?
Well, one of the most profound ones was the rediscovery of their true self,
Okay.
They realized that understanding their core values and aspirations
Right.
was like essential before embarking on any kind of meaningful learning or growth.
Yeah, it's like they had to define their own personal compass
Yes.
before they could chart a new course. I like that. What happened after they rediscovered their true self?
They started acquiring new skills,
Yeah.
particularly, in project management.
Right.
And that led to a complete career transformation,
Ah,
which really proves that, aligning our work with our passions
yeah.
can lead to some pretty remarkable outcomes.
So they went from feeling stuck in a job they didn't love to doing something that, really lit them up.
Yeah,
It's inspiring to see how they turned that anxiety into a catalyst for change.
absolutely.
But I imagine there were still moments of fear along the way.
Oh, absolutely. They talked about that fear of the unknown as like this constant companion, something they had to actively confront
Yeah,
as they ventured outside that comfort zone.
I can relate to that. It's like stepping out of a warm, familiar house
Yeah.
into like a dark, unknown forest.
Yeah.
It's scary,
Yeah.
but there's also that sense of excitement and possibility. What were some other challenges that they faced?
They highlighted the struggle of constantly having to push beyond those self-imposed limitations.
Right.
They had to actively seek out new experiences, engage in activities that previously would have caused anxiety, and just, constantly remind themselves of their why.
Right, their purpose.
Exactly, the deeper reason behind this pursuit of growth.
So it was a constant process of pushing themselves forward, even when those old patterns, those fears, those self-doubts tried to pull them back.
Exactly.
What was the outcome?
Well, the outcome was this incredible phase of personal growth. They described it as moving from that learning zone to a growth zone
Okay.
where, that uncertainty gradually gave way to a sense of purpose and a newfound confidence. They were able to set goals with clarity and intention. And they started achieving things that they once thought were impossible.
It sounds like they completely transformed their relationship with fear and uncertainty.
Yes.
Going from feeling paralyzed by it to actually using it as a tool for growth. That's amazing.
Yeah, it is.
But I did notice that they mentioned feeling scared by their own rapid growth.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think that was?
It's funny, isn't it? It's kind of a paradox.
Yeah.
But I think it speaks to the fact that growth is dynamic.
Yeah.
Sometimes, even when we're actively trying to expand our comfort zone, that rapid pace of change can be, a bit overwhelming.
It can be a lot to process.
It is. We get so used to those familiar boundaries of our comfort zone.
Right.
And then even positive change can, make us feel a bit uneasy.
I see what you mean. It's like we're drawn to the possibilities.
Yes.
But also kind of intimidated by them at the same time.
That's a great way to put it.
What else can we learn from Abubakar Tayahasanat's story?
Well, their story really emphasizes the importance of taking a holistic approach to growth.
Okay.
They didn't just focus on professional development.
Yeah,
They prioritized self-care, pursued spiritual growth, and really nurtured their mental well-being.
So it's about recognizing that growth is not just about, achieving external goals.
It's not just them.
But it's also about cultivating that, inner well-being.
It is. It's about nurturing all aspects of ourselves to create a life that is both fulfilling and sustainable.
And their story is a reminder that the journey beyond our comfort zone, it's not like a destination.
No.
It's an ongoing process.
It is. It's a continuous evolution. It's filled with those moments of discomfort, uncertainty, even fear. But it's in those moments that we discover, our true resilience, our adaptability, that capacity for growth that we all have within us.
That's a beautiful reminder. And it's a reminder that the journey itself is just as important as, where we end up.
Absolutely.
But before we dive into some, practical strategies for venturing beyond our comfort zones,
Yeah.
I think it's important to acknowledge that, sometimes those comfort zones can feel like safe havens.
They can.
Especially, when we're going through tough times.
Of course.
So how can we differentiate between a healthy desire for comfort and a fear of growth that might be holding us back?
It's a great question. It's about figuring out when those comfort zones are actually serving us.
Okay.
And when they've become, like you said, more like cages, limiting our potential.
Yeah.
Preventing us from really experiencing the fullness of life.
So how do we know when it's time to push ourselves beyond those comfortable boundaries? What are some signs that our comfort zones might have become too small for us?
Well, one indicator is that feeling of boredom or stagnation, When we're no longer feeling challenged or engaged in our lives,
Yeah.
that might be a sign that we've outgrown our current comfort zone and we need to seek out, new experiences
Right.
that spark our curiosity and reignite those passions.
So it's like that feeling of restlessness.
Yes,
That inner voice. It's like, there's got to be more to life than this.
exactly. It's that yearning for something more, that sense of unfulfilled potential
Right.
that can be such a powerful catalyst for growth.
What are some other signs?
Another indicator is feeling fear or anxiety about growth.
Okay.
And we often, associate fear with stagnation, right?
Yeah.
But as we talked about earlier, sometimes most profound growth can trigger its own set of anxieties.
Yeah.
So if we're finding ourselves getting more and more apprehensive about stepping outside our comfort zone,
Yeah.
it could be a sign that we're, holding ourselves back from embracing our full potential.
So it's that feeling of being like terrified and exhilarated at the same time.
Yes.
Knowing that there's something amazing waiting for us, but also feeling like, I don't know about this.
Yeah, it's that tension, right?
Yeah.
Between the desire for growth and that need for safety.
Right.
And that can, sometimes make us feel paralyzed. But it's also what ultimately propels us forward.
Yeah.
Pushes us to face those fears and embrace the power of venturing beyond our comfort zones.
And I think another sign might be when we start comparing ourselves to others.
Yes.
And feeling a sense of like envy or inadequacy.
Absolutely. When we're constantly comparing ourselves to others,
Right.
it distorts how we see our own progress and achievements.
Right.
We start focusing on what we lack
Yeah.
instead of what we have.
Yeah.
And it can lead to that feeling of dissatisfaction,
Yeah. Like we're not enough.
Exactly. But true growth isn't about competing with others.
Yeah.
It's about becoming the best version of ourselves.
It's about recognizing that everyone's journey is unique
Absolutely.
and that comparing ourselves to others is like a pointless exercise.
It is.
It's about focusing on our own path, our own goals, our own definition of success.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's about celebrating the successes of others
Yeah.
without feeling threatened or diminished,
Right.
When we can genuinely appreciate the achievements of those around us,
Yeah.
it inspires us to reach for our own potential, and it creates this world where everyone has the opportunity to thrive.
That's a beautiful sentiment. It's about creating that culture of like support and encouragement
Yes.
where we're all like lifting each other up and celebrating each other's victories.
That's a great way to put it.
But sometimes, even when we are surrounded by supportive people, it can be difficult to silence that inner critic.
Oh, I know.
Those voices of self-doubt that tell us we're not good enough or we'll never be able to do it.
Yeah.
So how do we deal with that inner negativity that could just hold us back from taking those leaps of faith?
Those inner critics can be so persistent and persuasive, But we got to remember, they're not always accurate reflections of reality. They often stem from past experiences, limiting beliefs, and just that fear of failure. One really effective strategy is to practice self-compassion.
Self-compassion, okay.
Yeah. It's about treating yourself with the same kindness and understanding that you would offer, a close friend.
Okay.
So when those negative thoughts come up,
Yeah.
acknowledge them,
Right.
but don't judge yourself for having them, and then try to reframe them
Okay.
with more supportive and realistic perspectives.
So it's like having a conversation with those inner critics
Yes.
where we're like acknowledging their concerns,
Yes.
but also challenging their validity.
Exactly.
It's about recognizing that those negative thoughts aren't facts.
Right.
They're just interpretations based on our own experiences and beliefs.
That's a great way to put it.
How do we challenge those interpretations and replace them with something more empowering?
One powerful technique is to focus on your past successes. So when those inner critics start whispering their doubts, remind yourself of times when you've overcome challenges,
Yeah.
achieved goals, and proven those negative voices wrong.
So it's like creating this highlight reel of our accomplishments.
Yes.
Those moments where we've shown our strength and our resilience and proven that we can succeed.
Exactly.
It's about reminding ourselves that we are capable of so much more than those inner critics tell us.
Absolutely. And, surrounding ourselves with positive affirmations can be really powerful, too.
Okay, how do we do that?
Collect inspiring quotes, uplifting messages, reminders of your goals and aspirations, and put them where you'll see them every day, on your desk, on your mirror, even on your phone's lock screen.
So we're creating like this positive feedback loop
Exactly.
where the more we focus on these empowering messages,
Yeah.
the more we start to believe them and the more likely we are to actually act in ways that are aligned with those beliefs. Are there any other tools we can use to combat those negative thought patterns?
Visualization is incredibly powerful.
Okay.
Vividly imagine yourself successfully achieving your goals, overcoming challenges, silencing those inner critics.
So it's like creating a mental blueprint for success,
Exactly.
a roadmap that guides us towards where we want to go.
Yeah. We're training our minds to believe those goals are achievable
Right.
and that we have what it takes to make them happen.
I love these strategies. They're so practical and empowering.
Yeah.
But I think it's important to remember that this journey
Yeah.
of venturing beyond our comfort zones,
Yeah.
it's not always easy.
It's not a linear path,
Right.
There are going to be moments of confidence and moments of doubt,
Yeah.
times when we feel super motivated and times when we feel stuck. The key is to embrace that messy, imperfect, unpredictable nature.
Yeah.
Personal growth.
So it's not about avoiding mistakes or setbacks.
No.
It's about
Yeah.
using them as opportunities
Yes.
to learn and grow.
Yes, precisely. It's about cultivating that growth mindset,
Okay.
that belief that we can always learn, we can adapt, we can evolve. So challenges become opportunities,
Right.
Mistakes become valuable lessons, and setbacks actually become stepping stones to success.
So it's like shifting our focus from fear of failure to a love of learning.
That's beautiful. I love that.
What advice would you give to someone who's feeling stuck and just not sure where to start?
I would say one of the most important things is to remember that you are not alone on this journey.
Right.
Find your tribe,
Yeah.
those people who believe in you, who offer encouragement and provide support
Yeah.
when you need it most.
It's like having that team of cheerleaders
Exactly.
who are always in your corner.
Yeah.
Okay. What about those times when we know what we need to do,
Yeah.
but we just can't seem to get ourselves to do it?
Yeah, those moments are inevitable, right? We all experience them.
Right.
But one of the best ways to overcome that inertia is to reconnect with your why. Why are you pursuing this goal?
Right.
What are the deeper motivations, the values that are driving you forward?
It's about remembering the bigger picture.
Yes.
Why am I doing this in the first place?
Exactly.
What impact do I want to make?
And when we can tap into that sense of purpose, those intrinsic motivators,
Yeah.
it becomes less about overcoming the fear
Right.
and more about aligning our actions with our values and aspirations.
I love that. It's about finding that spark
Yeah.
that, ignites our passion and
Yes.
fuels our determination.
And, you don't have to have all the answers.
Right.
Or figure everything out before you start.
Yeah.
Sometimes the best way to discover our path
Yeah.
is to just take that first step
Right.
and trust that the journey will unfold as we go.
It's about embracing the unknown
Yes.
and trusting that the process will lead us where we need to be.
I love that.
And remember, even the smallest steps
Yes.
can create ripples
They-
that extend far beyond ourselves.
Absolutely. When we dare to challenge our own boundaries and embrace our full potential,
Yeah.
we inspire others to do the same.
So by stepping outside of our comfort zones,
Yeah.
we're not just transforming our own lives.
We're not.
We're contributing to a more courageous,
Absolutely.
a more empowered, a more fulfilling world for everyone.
Precisely. It's a ripple effect that can have such a profound impact
Yeah.
on our communities, our families, even the world at large.
That's a beautiful thought.
Mm.
And it reminds us that this journey is not just about personal gain.
Right.
It's also about making a positive difference
Yes.
in the world. Welcome back to the All Sorts podcast, where we are continuing our deep dive into this whole world of, what lies beyond your comfort zone.
We have covered a lot of ground,
We have.
but now it's time to get even more practical, right?
Okay, I like it.
Let's give our listeners some actionable strategies.
Yes. Let's do it.
That they can use to actually start expanding their comfort zones today.
Okay, I'm ready. Give me the steps. What can we do right now to start pushing those boundaries?
One of the simplest but most effective things you can do is shake up your routine.
Okay.
Our brains love novelty.
They do.
Introducing even small changes into our daily lives, it can spark new neural pathways, increase our creativity, and boost our well-being.
So instead of just going through the motions every day,
Yeah.
we need to be more intentional, add in a little elements of surprise.
Exactly. So instead of, let's say, always taking the same route to work, why not try a different path once a week?
Okay.
You might discover a new cafe you love, or even a shortcut.
Ooh, a shortcut.
Right. Or instead of ordering your usual coffee, try a new flavor or even a different drink altogether.
So we're turning those like mundane parts of our day
Yeah.
into little mini adventures.
I love that.
I like it.
Okay, what else? Another powerful strategy is to set small, achievable goals.
Okay.
Don't try to change everything at once.
Right, baby steps.
Yes, exactly. Focus on making gradual progress in areas that feel, slightly challenging,
Right.
but not overwhelming.
So break down those big, scary goals
Yes.
into smaller, more manageable ones.
Exactly. So instead of, let's say, aiming to run a marathon right away, maybe start with a 5K.
Okay.
And by setting those realistic goals
yeah.
and experiencing those small wins,
Yes.
we build confidence and momentum, and it makes those bigger aspirations seem a little less daunting.
And it's important to like stop and celebrate those wins.
Yes.
Along the way. Right.
Absolutely. Celebrating those small victories, it reinforces our belief that we can do it.
Yes.
And it motivates us to keep going. It reminds us that the journey itself is just as important as the destination.
It's like giving ourselves a high five.
Yes.
Every time we, take a step in the right direction.
Exactly. And I think it's also important to acknowledge that this, stepping outside our comfort zone, it can be challenging.
It is.
It takes courage, determination, a willingness to embrace those moments of discomfort and uncertainty.
Because they will come up.
They will.
Yeah.
It's not always easy to break free from those old patterns.
Right.
To face our fears head on.
Yeah.
And venture into the unknown. But I think it's worth it.
I agree. I think the rewards are worth the effort.
They are. And it's also important to remember that, there's no one right way to do this.
Right. There's no magic formula.
There isn't. Some people thrive on taking those big leaps of faith, while others prefer to, take a more gradual approach.
One step at a time.
Exactly. We all have different comfort zones.
Of course.
Different fears, different aspirations.
Yeah.
The key is to, be self-aware, to understand your own needs and preferences, and to just approach this whole thing with a sense of curiosity and compassion and, just a willingness to experiment.
So it's about becoming like our own coach.
Yes.
Listening to our intuition, honoring our boundaries, celebrating our strengths,
Exactly. And as we keep pushing those boundaries, we discover that our comfort zones aren't fixed. They can expand and evolve as we grow.
It's like we're constantly redrawing the map of our own potential.
I love that. And as we explore those uncharted territories within ourselves, we often discover this ripple effect that extends beyond just our own lives.
In what way?
When we dare to challenge our own boundaries and embrace our full potential, it inspires others to do the same, right?
Yeah.
We create this chain reaction of courage and growth that spreads outwards, empowering those around us to reach for their dreams and break free from their limitations.
So by venturing beyond our own comfort zones, we're not just transforming our own lives.
Right.
We're contributing to a more courageous, empowered, and fulfilling world for everyone.
Precisely. It's this beautiful reminder that our individual journeys of growth are all interconnected.
I love it.
And that together, we can create a world where everyone feels encouraged and supported to become the best versions of themselves.
That's a beautiful message. And it makes me feel so inspired to, keep pushing my own boundaries and exploring new horizons.
That's wonderful.
And remember, you don't have to do it alone.
You don't.
There's a whole community of people out there,
There is.
cheering you on.
Absolutely.
And supporting you every step of the way.
And speaking of community,
Yes.
don't forget to join our amazing All Sorts podcast family.
Yes.
On YouTube, X, Instagram, and Threads.
Coming out with us.
Like, share, subscribe, and follow us for more deep dives and, thought-provoking discussions like this one.
We are here to spark your curiosity, ignite your passions, and empower you to embrace the adventure of learning something new every single day.
We can't wait to welcome you to our tribe of curious minds and adventurous spirits.
This concludes our deep dive into the world beyond your comfort zone. May you leave feeling courageous, willing to embrace the unknown, and, excited to explore all those amazing possibilities
I love it.
that lie ahead. See you on the other side of comfort.
Yeah.